Hello, Jackson here. Today I wanted to do a review on Ahsoka Tano's Jedi Interceptor, the Lego set. It's going to be set 75401. Um, it's kind of an expensive set. I think that's probably going to be one of the more controversial parts of this, but to me, I love it mainly just because these Jedi Interceptors to me are such cool ships. They're probably my favorite ships in all of Star Wars. Really cool to get a different colorway of it. And just to have a new design that Lego can come out with. So it's a lot sturdier than the previous models. We'll get to all that in a minute. But yeah, 75401, Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor. So this set is currently, as I'm making this, still available to purchase. It's not retired yet. It doesn't look like it probably should retire till maybe the end of 2026. So still like a year plus time to buy it. Like I said, one of the more controversial parts is the price. Lego.com has it for sale for $45, which all it is this ship and then a few minifigures. So that is quite expensive. That is seems to be the way we're going with sets, but that's how it is. I mean, it's, let's see, 290 pieces. Not that many pieces for that price. You can pretty consistently find it on Amazon for 20% off, so for $35. $10 off for $35. This is a much more enticing price, and maybe if you're able to scrounge up another $5 off for leftover remnants of a gift card or something, drop that down closer to $30. Then I think is when we're looking at it's a much more reasonably priced set. But yeah, so I bought it for sale on Amazon when it had a sale price, so I probably paid $30 to $35 for it. I'm pretty happy with that price that I paid. But yeah, let's take a look at the minifigures here. All right, aside from the Astromech R7A7, which we can show here in a minute, but these are the two minifigures that the set comes with. Anakin and Padawan Ahsoka. Something I really love that LEGO's been doing recently is they've been doing these half legs. Like they used to do those short Hobbit legs, but they are movable now. So it's a good way to show sort of like the, you can expand them out, but they're clearly smaller. There's no second brick on the back here for them to sit with. It's just the one stud. They're clearly smaller than a normal minifigure, which for me is great for displaying that height difference between Ahsoka and Anakin. And just a lot of other stuff. You can sort of make teenagers in Lego now, which is exciting because it adds a lot of variety to the sort of characters you can build with the truly authentic characters, and just the variety you can put in your mocks. So those are two sets. It comes with Ahsoka with her two lightsabers. People have a bit of an issue. They want the other one to be a different green so that it's really true to the show for her Shoto blade, I think is what it's called. Her short one she carries backwards here. Lego's not going to do that. They're just going to include two of the green ones. That's how they are. But otherwise, I think it's cool, and I think it's cool to get Clone Wars Anakin again. Anakin is my favorite Star Wars character. Sort of a cop-out. He's the main character. But he's the coolest to me, and so I always like getting cool Anakins, and Clone Wars Anakin is one of the best. So neither of them have arm printing or any sort of dual-molded legs. Pretty basic, but they do have pretty good back prints. Ahsoka's got a really good hairpiece, and I believe and Anakin's got a stern face, and Ahsoka has an angry face on the back. So there is a little bit of variety you can do when you display them. But yeah, those are the two figures. Pretty cool. Two figures, three lightsabers. And to me, pretty decent figures, especially with the Padawan Ahsoka variant. A lot of the Ahsokas floating around right now seem to be from the Ahsoka TV show. So Grey Jedi Ahsoka in her much more senior style, very different clothing. So pretty cool to get a Clone Wars variant. And so the other minifigure we get, sorry, I keep them stored in the ship, is just R7A7. It's just Ahsoka's little droid. Nothing super special. It's really just a maroon and lime green variant of R2, the variant of all the astromechs that they do. But yeah, this is the ship, the Jedi Interceptor. To me, they're, like I've said, the coolest ship possible. I love when they go into attack. I think this angle here is really cool. This aggressive, but it's very minimal curve, and then these things pop out open. when they go into battle is so cool. I grew up on Revenge of the Sith, so that opening scene where Anakin and Obi-Wan are flying these things made me fall in love with this ship. These are sticker pieces, but they're printed, so they do, or they're not printed, but they're sticker pieces, but they go on pretty well. But it does give the ship a pretty cool silhouette with the horns. Everything Ahsoka does has horns in it. Same with the bottom. Same design, so even when they're extended out, they'll both be mirrored and matching in terms of the fangs showing. Something I appreciated about this, I will have to remove this if I want to put it on one of those cool stands, but they do this like tiled off curved portion down here, which gives it a really solid thing to hold when you want to, if you want to fly it around. It's very, very sturdy. These wings, old ones of these had those ratcheting, those ratchet hinges to get this angle right. And so when you'd hold it by these, it would bend up straight or do whatever. This one is built with these Technic pieces they're starting to use for everything now. They use them on all the Jedi Interceptors and Jedi starfighters, and pretty much any little ship like this now uses these things, but it gives it so much stability that you can really wiggle these guys around just by the wing, and it's not going anywhere. So I really appreciate that. Always good to have a much sturdier build. I think the design is pretty good. It's got the general shape. It's got little guns here they've implemented. These really cool center big fire guns. And then on top of all that, it does have 2 spring-loaded shooters down here. They're pretty tucked away, which is nice because a lot of people like taking them out, so they're not part of the integral weapon system. So some ships sort of look weird when you don't have the spring-loaded shooters in there, or they put stud shooters on and they're big and bulky and they don't look true to form. This, to me, from pretty much all angle, looks great, and if you just don't put stud shooters in there, there's no need to modify that aspect to it, which I like, because you can sort of leave the play feature there. It's sturdy enough you can give to a kid or something, and they can launch the spring-loaded shooters out at people, and you don't need to worry about it too much. Something they do, it's a good and the bad. Like Obi-Wan's Starfighter, which is out right now, doesn't have a spot to put the full astromech, so you have to take the head off, and it goes on a little swivel piece, which is a cool feature in and of itself, right? The droids do spin around. These do have room in the wings to hold the entire astromech droid, and it just sits down there. But because of that, there is this, and they mirror it on the other side to their credit to give it room, but there's like a big well that has to exist to, holy cow, to drop that down in and to give him studs to land on. Like, they mirrored on the other side, but these are 2 pretty blocky chunks up here. They do effectively work with this larger back chunk as landing gear, or at least just like displayable landing gear. So it at least sets down really well. You don't have any sort of folding landing gear in this ship, so at least it's got 3 main points it can sit on. Now, getting rid of those to put true landing gear would, in effect, get rid of your ability to store the full astromech on there. So if you wanted to, you could pivot and put the that spinning plate piece on top, just like Obi-Wan's Starfighter, and then you could get rid of these major chunks and maybe get rid of this larger chunk down here, or at least slim it up and put landing gear on it, but that's a give or take you got to go for. The other aspect, I think this whole shaping in the back is good. It's a new cockpit piece that we get for this set that the main complaint people have is that it opens included with this nose, right? So this actually opens really far back. Some sets you really got to finagle your way to get a minifigure in there. This thing, no problem. And it's actually got a decent looking cockpit, a little brown seat, some nice details here on the side, and then a good display column there. And then it even has, man, I don't really know how to show this. Like this is like a V cutout here, which when this is down, basically means the minifigure could see out of this entire window, which is a cool feature for just like in world scenario stuff, right? Obviously the minifigure is not looking at anything, but it does free up that room to give the whole cockpit view. So I think that's very cool. Let me grab a Ahsoka here. Take her lightsabers off. Oh. So she sits back in there pretty good. You know, it is definitely like a stealth or a sleeker starfighter, so I don't mind the whole lean back side. Sometimes in some of these new ships, it feels like the pilots are laying straight back just to try and keep a sleek look, and it doesn't fit the actual ship. To this fits the ship. You know, they're really reclined back, they're really lounged out. It's a sleek, quick fighter. But with how visible it is, it looks really good with all of the see-through elements on top of this whole printed cockpit piece. I think that is great. Ahsoka's, you know, very colorful. Her orange skin, all of her blue and white, and all of her maroon colors for her Clone Wars era just show through really nice. So it doesn't get lost in there. You know, it's slightly tinted, but not too much. So displaying this with her in there is great. So I think that's good. And it's definitely got some room. There's some mods out there you can find that basically it just modifies this brick system a little bit up here that basically keeps this front cockpit piece still. And then when you open this, just this top piece will move to make it a little more true to fashion. But honestly, it doesn't bug me that much right now. So we'll see if I end up going that route. But otherwise, I was very pleased with this. Just a few small gripes were the price. I think it's a little expensive out the gate for what it is. But there seems to be pretty consistent 20% off sales running. So maybe that's actually more of the true price. I don't know if they're trying to get you saying it's on sale. But yeah, that's Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor. I think it's well worth it if you can get a good sale on it. I think they're the coolest ships out there. And so really happy to add another one to the collection here. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.